But let's now bring you reaction to one of our top stories today. The families of the Life Esidimeni survivors and victims have reached a compensation agreement with the Gauteng government. To remind you, earlier this month, the group marched on Premier David Makura's office. They complained of not receiving payouts, along with other families who were compensated following the arbitration hearings. Now the provincial government is promising to pay without a delay. Earlier, we had spoken to the Gauteng government about this. I'm now joined on the line. I believe I have family representative Rashieda Landis on the phone with me. Rashieda, hello to you. I hope you can hear me. It's Gareth Edwards. Can you give me your reaction to the news that the government is now going to pay out the compensation?
Yes, he is indeed. The acting premier indeed agreed and promised to pay us. And on Wednesday, we had a lengthy 5-hour meeting, including the master's office, where we argued and agreed to disagree. And we reached a consensus, and they agreed to go accordingly what the families want. So we are happy with that at this point. And yes, the acting premier did promise that he will commit to assist us to expedite the deceased payments and the survivors' payments. He did commit to that. And I must say, he was proactive and not reactive. He also promised that he will have continued meetings with us to guide us, and so that we can guide him as well. So I do appreciate that.
For the clarity of our viewers, Rashieda, you're referring to the acting premier that's currently being held by Panyaza Lesufi. When you say that you agreed to disagree, but government then decided to agree with the families, remind me what the families actually wanted. What did you get out of this?
What the order said initially was that there should be no trust fund. All masters must be involved. By Justice Mosaneki, his order on the 19th of March 2018. That is why we didn't want to go the master's route. Because initially when we met with the masters about 3 weeks ago, on a Wednesday as well, they wanted fees, they wanted certain portions to go in the trust fund, certain portions to be for the complainant, and certain portion to go for the user. And we didn't agree with that. Because then it means to say that it is a trust fund and they will monitor and want to tell the user, the complainant, how to spend and use the money. And that wasn't agreed in the order initially signed by Judge Mosaneki.
What is now the timeline, Rashieda, that you've been given? I spoke to the Gauteng government spokesperson, Thabo Masebe, earlier. He was saying it's been expedited to the point where he thinks that even as early as today, there may be some families that may start receiving compensation. Is that your understanding as well?
There is one person that actually went to the master's process. I think she started 2 weeks ago with that process. So there is one payment that is going to go through. I don't know if it's going to go through today or tomorrow or when, but they will let us know how it's going. Because we are also testing the master's office, which is extremely unfriendly. They're not user-friendly. And they sent me from Pillar to Post. I was the person to go test that function. And it is absolute. They are not friendly. They don't want to assist you. Full stop. And I contacted the acting premier, and he said he's onto it. That is why we're having a meeting on the 3rd of January with the Premier's office to see how we can deal with this master's office that's not user-friendly.
This has been an incredibly long process for many of these families, Rashieda, and you have obviously been at the sharp end of these negotiations and trying to get government to do what they're supposed to be doing. Tell me about the legal costs, because when it comes to the verification of the claims from each family for various reasons, that's quite a lengthy and legal process. Are you picking up the bill for that? We were told the families won't pay for it. Is that correct?
Initially, we were going to pay for it, but then the committee said, no, we're not paying for it because that was not in the order. It was not stated in the order by Judge Mosaneki. And that is why the government, the acting premier, they will pick up any cost incurred in this process.
Have you gotten everything out of this that you've wanted? Once all monies have been paid over, and it's never going to bring back loved ones, Rashieda, obviously, I'm not suggesting that, but once payments are done, is that the end of it for you and the families? Have you gotten everything out of this you've wanted to?
No. The fight has just begun. The fight has just begun because there is some families that still out there that need payment. that need to come to the fort. And then there is the 21 patients that are still missing. We must still search for those patients. And I'm going to make it my personal task to go out there and look for the Gogos. They don't have transport, means of traveling to come and register for these claims. We are going to establish a committee to do that.
How many patients, Rashieda, do you understand to still be missing?
The last we heard was 21 patients, but I will go and investigate and see how many patients are really not, accounted for, and then I will embark on a search for them as well, together with my other family members.
Let me ask you this. As the family representative, of course, you're going to pick that up as well. Did you bring this issue up with Panyaza Lesufi, the acting premier? And if you did, what was his reaction about people who are still missing?
No, we did not. We did not bring it up with him as such, because he arrived at the tail end, as you said. Last week on Wednesday, he only arrived then on this journey. And we will pick it up with him once there is action. Like in earliest as the 3rd of January, we will start embarking the process as well.
I really appreciate your time. Rashieda Landis, family representative. As far as the 144 deaths, the government has now reached an agreement with what sounds like many of the families, and payments and compensation have already begun. It's